That was not exactly relaxing, but oh well. At least, well, I guess Estelle and Joshua have now achieved C support with Tita. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. That is the biggest pipe dream in the history of pipe dreams. So, actually, when she says the baths are always waiting, you do want to take her up on that advice. Also, the food really is great, they're not lying. If you haven't already by now, definitely stock up on specialty eggnog. It's incredibly good to have later in the game. So yeah, if the pump hadn't broke down, Estelle wouldn't have, turned into a gigantic tsundere. Yeah, we totally forgot about that whole thing. You know, the thing we actually came to the region to do to begin with. So before we leave, I want to show something. In fact, it actually has already happened, because look at this, everyone is at maximum CP. So I wonder if it'll even let me show this, but from now on, if you go back to Elmo Village, you can actually enter the baths, and it fully recharges your CP. So, anytime during the chapter when Elmo Village is accessible, you can do that. I would highly recommend it before any major events in the plot or major battles, because yeah, free 200 CP on every party member. Incredibly useful. Oh, by the way, yeah, Dorothy's gonna stop us when we're leaving. Yeah, she somehow managed to get semi-drunk off of milk. That's actually a TV trope, isn't it? Drunk on milk. And she completely forgot what she was trying to do. Just like someone we know. I wonder what that was in Japanese. Yeah, from listening to some Japanese voices of Edelgard and Dorothy as C support in Three Houses, 80 is just like Edelgard-chan in Japanese, which makes sense. I think it's just Ederu-chan. Also, Little T sounds a lot like the nicknames that you can choose for yourself in Pokemon X and Y. So, Dorothy is heading back to Zeiss with us. Yep, let's not get stopped this time. So, on the way back to Zeiss, I guess I can talk about something. So, yeah. I make no secret of the fact that I normally don't like adoptive sibling romance plots. Like, you know, Fire Emblem Fates. I really don't like how Camilla is obsessed with her adoptive brother. But this is one of the few times where I'm actually okay with it. I know not a lot of people are, but actually I'm gonna have to interrupt my rant for a second because this is actually a fairly significant scene. We'd never seen this guy before, except for the opening movie. So obviously, because he was in the opening movie, you know he's important. Well, good news is we just came from there. Please be less vague. And, well, he's already gone. Obviously, though, we're going to be meeting him more in the future. Again, he was in the opening movie, so obviously he's important. Yeah, I explained that before. Calvar does have a lot of Eastern immigrants. That's not a particularly nice thing to say to someone. Now I'm just imagining martial artist bears. Well, maybe he's related to Chun-Li. So, yeah, back to my rant. So, yeah, this is one of the few times where I'm okay with it, because Estelle and Joshua didn't grow up their entire lives together. They've only known each other for 5 years, so it's not like they, you know, started off thinking of each other as siblings, and also they knew each other late enough for the Western Mark effect to have not really kicked in. It doesn't really feel as disturbing to me as some plots, and honestly, their interactions are pretty nice, and yeah, I generally like it overall. So, the moment that we enter Zeiss, big things are going to start happening. And, well, yeah, suddenly happy music. Does Handmaid have anything to say about all this? Yep, you can tell why I like this NPC. Nothing to do but to head straight to the factory. Well, that's not good. Hopefully Professor Russell didn't explode the whole place. Yeah, never mind that. What the heck happened here? Of course he isn't. Yeah, let's hope there's no major fires or anything. And, yep, nope. This conversation's actually a little funny considering something that, well, happens in the second game that... Oh, let's just say Dorothy's a major cause of trouble in a particular incident. In a particular fight in the second game, and yeah, I'll talk about that when I get there. Okay, but we have to check on Antoine. Yeah, you are very not happy about all this. So before you go in there, if you talk to one of the shopkeepers here... Oh, okay, yeah, so this guy, you want to make sure to talk to this guy before you go into the factory. Yeah, for once, somebody in an RPG is not actually going to charge you for anything during an emergency. So you actually get 3 choices here. A Celestial Balm, which in my opinion is the worst of the 3. Another Petrify Quartz, which can be very useful. Or a Proxy Puppet. This is an accessory that provides you with a one-time auto-revive, but once it's used, the accessory is destroyed permanently. So, yeah, it's either one of these two. Personally, I think Petrify is a lot better, especially since it can get you Earth Wall on someone very easily. So I think I'll actually go ahead and pick Petrify. I mean, I think you can actually synthesize those at this point, but... yeah, so I have Petrify and Tita, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put Petrify and Estelle at the same time. Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent setup, because I really want Earthwall again. And for the sake of later, I'm actually going to swap EP2 onto Joshua, just because I do want Chaos Brand for what's coming up. But that'll actually probably be in the next part, not this one. So, yeah, well, at least this is not the result of Smoker's revolt. Yeah, seems like Joshua's familiar with this kind of thing. It seems like there wasn't a gas leak. So, before you go to the 3rd floor, you want to investigate the factory more thoroughly because these plumes of smoke are smoke canisters. In order to get the maximum BP for this chapter, you have to find all 5 of these smoke canisters before progressing the plot here. So they're generally hidden around every floor. Well, that's interesting. And, well, you aren't supposed to use elevators during an emergency anyway, so we have to take the stairs. Okay, so there's actually a smoke canister on every floor apart from floor 5. So, the smoke canister for the basement is somewhere in the conveyor belt room. Yep, it's fairly well hidden. It's all the way over here. So, that's 2 down, 3 to go. Already dismantled the one on the 1st floor, so let's try the 2nd floor. Nope, looks like Murdoch wasn't the culprit behind this smoke. Not in the archives, but it's right here near the elevator. Okay, so that is done. Now, for the 3rd floor, we obviously don't want to go into the professor's lab just yet, because that's where we were told to go for the story. Instead, we want to head into the design room, where there is a smoke canister right here. That should leave only 1 more smoke canister. And yep, there's 1 in here, but first let's grab a tomato. Now, with that done, that should be all 5 of them, and you'll know that you've dismantled all the smoke canisters if you go into the stairwell and there's no smoke in the stairwell. So yeah, we've actually successfully achieved the objective here. And now we can check to see if the professor's okay. And well, the ear pain is currently in effect. He must have been using the saw, but there's no augment. And no professor. Ah, phew. Our ears are safe. Maybe leaving him alone with this device was a bad idea, especially since it's something that Cassius was clearly trying to keep away from people. And suddenly Agate. Well, we're already in the area. Incompetence? The arsonist would have got away if it weren't for us. Yeah, he's a senior bracer and a former gang member and a bit of a jerk. Oh great, one more reason for Agate to be mad at us. Admittedly, he kinda has a point here. We're sort of putting kids in danger, but still. And Agate is back in the party. And in terms of equipment, he actually has a new weapon here, so that's one more for the weapon count. And something else that you should probably take care of as soon as possible now that Agate has rejoined. Agate actually has learned a new S-break since we last saw him. Final Break. This one is an AoE S-break, so you want to make sure to switch over to that. Trust me, it'll be very, very useful later on. Now, I believe after Agate joins, you need to go up to the 5th floor. Well, that sure sounds like someone suspicious. It looks like we got here right as this thing was ongoing. And the amazing chase music again, yes! Yeah, surprise, surprise, it's the soldiers in black armor once more. And they've got the professor. Yeah, Agate does swear quite a bit, just to warn you. There's unfortunately quite a few exits to Zeiss, so it's going to be hard to tell where they've gone. Now, if we quickly look in here, the main processing unit of the Capel's actually gone. So, not only did they take the Professor and the Black Orbments, they also took the computer. What they would want with that? Well, there are a few reasons, but I guess we'll find out later. It's actually a quite easy detail to miss. On most of my playthroughs, I don't check there. Well, the elevator door is still open, which means that they've obviously come through here. Well, let's hope they didn't fight their way out. Well, doesn't look like anyone here is hurt. That does not match up with what they saw. Royal Guardsman, huh? Okay, good, a photo. Luckily enough, we have a photographer with us, so we do have a bit of evidence of what's going on. Well, you should have been suspicious of that immediately. Yep, looks like we fell for well, these people fell for the old disguise trick. Yeah, you probably should have taken the hint to stop them. So yeah, remember when I said the plot got pretty hectic starting with Chapter 3? This is about the point where things really start escalating. Terrorists disguising themselves as Royal Army soldiers, kidnapping a professor, yep, the kingdom's greatest mind, as well as stealing the computer, and the Black Orbment. Well, that's the problem, because we know from all the way back in Chapter 1 that there is a mole within your forces. So, I don't think you have this as locked down as you think you do. That sounds... that's suspicious. That's very, very suspicious. True, that's exactly why I'm worried. Because, you know, let's just say someone got their hands on that photo and actually did publish it to the press. It would be very easy to make it look like the Royal Guardsmen had done this. And maybe that was the terrorist plan all along. Yep, finally, Agate's stubborn refusal to give up a case is gonna work in our favor. Well, why do I have the feeling that any new information you learn is gonna get corrupted by the mole? Yeah, tell me about it. Obviously, Agate and the military don't exactly get along. So, it'll be time to report. Of course. Maybe he's finally recognized that we're actually good for something. And so, yep, things have definitely started escalating. And as you can see, the librarian is not here, so we can't actually report the temp librarian. Yeah, my priorities are obviously perfect for this point in time. But yeah, we can't actually report that quest in yet. Don't worry though, you do have a chance to report that in later. That quest does not expire until the very end of Chapter 3. So you have plenty of time. Well, yeah, your grandfather's been kidnapped by potentially terrorists, but yep, just cheer up. Yes, Estelle and Joshua, not Agate. Sadly, that's very true. Yeah, the thing is, they probably kidnapped him for information. They're not gonna hurt him. Wow, we're just seeing familiar faces all over the place, aren't we? Yep, it's Professor Alba again. Okay, that's convenient. Very convenient. Yeah, there's one more of these towers we haven't been to yet, and I kinda spoiled earlier that we would be forced to go to Carnelia Tower later for story reasons. Well, they were being blatantly obvious. I guess they're not used to seeing people around those towers. Most people, you know, most regular people wouldn't go there after all. Yep, that must be our disguised royal guard. And here, we're going to run into a little bit of friction with Agate, but you probably all saw this coming. Her grandfather's been taken. She really, really wants to go now, and, well... As is usual, Agate kinda has good points, but he's just a jerk about making them. Putting a 12-year-old, technically civilian, in danger is probably not going to reflect well on us, but... she has been helpful so far, and with us to protect her... I'm sure it will be fine. Yeah, they saw us coming after them. There might even be an ambush waiting. Well, the downside of this is that there is actually a mole in the army. I'm not sure Agate even knows that, but still. So yeah, we can report the Elmo pump repair request for now. And there's nothing new on this list at the moment. So now that Agate has joined us, if you go to Stain Arms and Guards, there's actually a second weapon from available, this thing, Bastard Edge, which, funnily enough, one of the guides that I was following for weapons actually had to censor that name, because otherwise it would have been, basically it would have tripped up auto filters. So that's actually pretty hilarious. And I think I can safely sell all of Chloe's stuff, because whenever characters rejoin you, they have new equipment. So yeah, let's go ahead and buy this. This thing's actually kind of similar to the name of a weapon in Fire Emblem Echoes, and I think that's actually incorrectly spelled, because I think it's based on a Greek polar. Anyway, yeah, I want to grab that. There's actually apparently a real reason why the Bastard Sword is called that. It's like halfway between a great sword and a regular sword, so it's kind of like a bastard child of the two of them. Well, for once, even Hammy-Mate is serious. This situation must be dire. Now, there are a couple of things I want to take care of before we head to Carnelia Tower. And bunnies are not one of them. Do you have anything to say about what happened? Yeah, burglary and kidnapping. Thankfully, we're hot on their tail. But why I actually came here was this. Yeah, that recharges Agate's CP to full. It doesn't recover your EP though, which makes perfect sense. I actually really like that detail. It can restore your fatigue and give you energy, hence CP, but obviously hot springs are not going to recharge your orbments. Okay, so before going to the tower, I also want to make sure that I level up Joshua and Estelle a little bit, because I actually want Joshua to get to level 23 before this upcoming fight. Also, while I'm here, well, I need to go back to town and open Agate slots. And done. And now that I've done that, okay then. Obviously, I can put Confuse here. Just putting Hit 3 there is enough for Chaos Brand. And Action 1, I guess. So, there's another thing that I want to do before going to Carnelia Tower, and that is to, you can probably tell, get an actual Carnelia book. For that, you have to go all the way to Wolf Fort. And yeah, this is actually the guy who we repaired the haulage vehicle for. And talking to him gets us Carnelia Chapter 7. Funnily enough, Carnelia is also really starting to pick up around this point, just like the main story is. Okay, and in terms of tactics, okay, battle position. these two will stand back a little. Agate will go in the front because he has the most HP. Yeah, I think that's about right. So, I will probably be doing the events at Carnelia Tower next time. So, I will see you then for that.